Insight Sports Talk.
1, 2, talk, get talk.
Insight Sports Talk. Traveling the country for the biggest stories in collegiate sports. Bringing you the news that will impact every college athlete in America. From the Ivy League to the SWAC, Big Sky to the Big Ten, Notre Dame, FAMU, Miami, or Maine. No university is too big, no college too small. We tell it all. Inside Sports Talk with your hosts, the coach, Mickey Clayton and Clayton Smith. They're bringing you insight on all the latest stories from all the biggest names in collegiate sports. Join us for the next 60 minutes for Inside Sports Talk. The sports talk show of a different kind.
Hello, everybody. We're here with Insights today, and we have our co-host and occasional co-host. I got Clayton Smith with me.
Hey, Mickey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and we got the legendary Rick Brown from the Lakeland Ledger.
Coach, how are you?
If I like Rick Brown, boy, I hit the lotto, call it a day.
Oh, my.
Oh, man. We're talking about the HBCU colleges and the money, lack of money, going to Division II, but who do we have in HBCU land that could go or is ready to go or could possibly go to the FBS? Who could go up?
Personally, right now, I don't think any of us could go up right now. I don't think any of us are ready to make that leap. You got two schools at one time really talked about it. One made a concerted effort. FAMU tried to do it back in 2003, I believe it was. North Carolina A&T had talked about it, had a sugar daddy who was going to give them several $1 million, a guy from Alabama, but they did not take that, they did not attempt that leap. And the way things are right now, I don't know if any HBCU is able to make that leap right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Clayton, in that instance. It's kind of hard to see any program right now that's ready, and because you need so many factors behind you, much less the financial backing to go D1 or to go D1 in football. You know, I was thinking if any program that could, maybe Tennessee State, perhaps, but even them, they're in the OVC in other sports, I know, but I just don't know if they have enough a financial foundation to make that jump, and that's what you're going to need, especially for football.
Okay, so both of you are saying similar thoughts in terms of the fact that you think having the finances would be the number one deterrent to teams going up to Division I?
Well, I agree with that. I think finances has to be number one. You have to have a solid foundation in order to do it. And number two would be facilities, in my opinion.
When I talk about finances, I'm not even just talking about from the athletic department. I'm thinking from the boosters, because if you look at big programs, and I'll just take Florida, the University of Florida, for example, when they hire their coaches and all, a lot of that money is coming from a secondary fund. Black colleges don't do that well in terms of getting big money donations. I mean, I know Florida A&M's Booster Club does a great job, especially the last couple of years, of getting more and more alumni involved and active. But for the most part, unfortunately, that's not the norm.
Okay, now if you take some of our smaller institutions and you compare them to the SEC and AC schools, you're going to lose every time. But there are a number of smaller conferences that have realigned themselves and have actively reached out to several HBCUs in terms of joining some of those conferences. And if you look back, even at Troy State, they had wanted Florida A&M to go with them and had offered to share their 5-year plan with the institution so that Florida A&M could position themselves to go into Division I with them. And their thought was, nobody really knows who Troy State is, but everybody knows who Florida A&M is. So you already have a following that we're hoping to be able to work on in terms of name recognition. So in terms of comparing booster contributions to some of the major institutions, we only have 2 schools in the state that would be able to speak on having those type of contributions. But I think where we are, let's establish what we think the most important or significant criteria would be to be able to move up. And we've already said contributions and money and facilities. What else do we think would be needed to be able to make a move like that?
You got to have a solid backing of your administration.
That's
that is essential. If you don't have a commitment from your administration from the top, that means the board and the president's office down, you cannot succeed. And every time you have a change in administration or a major change in the board, if that direction is going to change, then you're sunk. So it has to be across the board.
I think that's a valid point. I do. And from facilities, you need the backing of your alumni.
Okay, Rick, before you go to the alumni, let me delve a little bit more into what commitment from the administration, what does that mean exactly? And that's your comment, yeah.
Okay. When I say a commitment from your administration, your president has to be your leadership person in this aspect. The president you have to have the president's full backing across the board in all areas. You're going to run into so many different things. You're talking about fundraising, you're talking about facilities. That the president is going to have to be the leader, not the athletic director. The president is going to have to be the leader of this type of effort. And that person has to have full backing of, going on down the line, you're talking about alumni and fans and the faculty.
But Clayton, if the president jumps out there and is fully supportive of this and doing fundraising and everything else, then that's going to create a problem with the academia people in terms of placing the cart before the horse. You're going to get a lot of pushback from your academic people at the institution.
Yeah, without a doubt, you really are. That happens at all schools. It's happening at Southern Cal not too long ago. They want to put more money into athletics, and they were saying that, hey, you got to push an academics to the back end of the cart. If you want to do something like that it is essential again for your president to have the backing of the faculty.
Well, see, and I look at it a little different. I think that you have to have an athletic director that's capable of mobilizing your athletic interests, and he has to do it with the support of the president. But I don't think that the president can make that a number one charge for them, because it sets them up to fail on so many other levels that they almost have to have the ability, if it gets too bloody, to wash their hands of it.
Well, the athletic director is going to be the person who's going to have to put together the structure. He's going to have to do the brick and mortar work of putting this together. But I still think your president in this particular endeavor is going to have to be your lead person. The president has to say, hey, look, I need to mobilize my alumni, I need to mobilize my boosters, my board, even my state, if it's a state institution, in order to get this done. So the president is very vital in this. Now, once he or she gets that underway, then they can kind of disappear into the background a little bit and let the athletic director work on, like I said, the structure, the bricks and mortar and so forth of accomplishing this. But the president is very, very key.
The president's very key, I agree. But the president cannot drive that wagon, to me. It has to be an athletic director, and I think that you have to hire an athletic director that you think can mobilize people to help do that for you. I think that the president has to be on board, but the athletic director has to be the face of it with the plan, the energy, and the ambition to drive it. Now, Rick, you were saying something, you gone back to your alumni and boosters and support. That's one of the items. What else is key for us or for institutions to have?
Well, they're going to need the academic support. They're definitely going to need that, because you're going to have to put more money into making sure into compliance. You're going to have to put more money into, because you have more scholarship Division I, or what is it called? Football, it used to be called Football Championship Series. Now, it was 85 scholarships, and Football Bowl Series is 65 scholarships. So that's 20 more scholarships for football that you're going to need support for. And not just financially, but like I said, academically. That's more food for the table. There's just so many components that you're going to need. And the first one, though, and I keep coming back to it, guys, is money. You have to have the foundation. Money is what runs Division I football. And if you don't have it from your alumni backing, from the funds that comes, the board allows you to get so much. If you don't have all of this, then it's not going to work. It's going to be a failed venture. And I'm not even talking about the upgrade of facilities. Like Brad would have to go up. I'm not sure if 25,000 is the limit or not. I think you have to have even a higher number of seats, capacity. And then what about skyboxes? What about all the luxuries? I mean, and I know smaller schools that you mentioned, like the FAUs and the FIU, they may not have as much as Florida State and all of that, but they're getting there. I'm not sure if we're ready for that yet.
And Rick, I agree with you on that. That's part of the infrastructure, and that's part of the fundraising mechanism needs to be in place also in order to be able to do that. That's why I put facilities. I mentioned facilities second, because you're right. Your football stadium has to be up to a certain level. You're talking about club level seats, skyboxes, like you said. The same thing with your arena. All that's very important, and you're also going to have things with other sports. Your baseball facility, softball facility is going to have to be up to snuff, and that's going to be key. I mean, it's not something that you can do overnight, which some schools have tried to do.
There you go. Clayton Smith doing jammed in. Hey, this is Insights. We're going to take a break right now. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We want to hear what you have to say, but we're going to come back because I don't agree with my co-host and my guest here today. I really don't. And I'm going to tell you why. Insights taking a break.
Trying something new. That's what it's about.
Ready?
Yep.
It didn't look good, man. When I hear you talk about you trying new things, it's refreshing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I play this back, you're not going to like it. What do you think that you're not good at? Technically, that was really bad. You're not bending your knees at all.
Yeah.
You locked up like a 2x4. Relax. Do I play basketball? No. But if you wanted to invite me, don't bend your knees, but let them loose a little bit. Wiggle, but not really too much. Back straight, but not really.
Ain't you got somewhere else to go?
No, I'm here all day. I would do it because that's me trying new things.
Hello? What up, homie? I'm trying to relax. Kev won't leave me alone.
Hello? Come on. And splash.
Why you laughing?
This ain't just sport, man. This is golf. But it's fine. We're trying something new. Yeah. Let me get that. Try it again. Let's try it one more time.
One, two, talk and talk.
And here we are. We're back from that break, and we're going to pick up this which will probably end up being a debate here. But gentlemen, I think we have some schools that are close to being ready, and I don't think that the money is as big a deal as you two guys are saying. Now, it is critical. But to me, I think one of the things that's very important is finding a conference that you can align yourself with. And there are conferences, it's just been amazing that everybody has been conference hopping and realigning, and there hasn't been one HBCU to make a move. Now, there have been some discussions about some moving. There's been discussion about having a super conference, and Tennessee State took a lot of heat being in the Ohio Valley, but as a result, they've actually upgraded their programs and gotten to be extremely competitive in Ohio Valley. I think that one of the keys is aligning yourself with the proper conference. And in that, there's things that you look at, because I've done some research on it. And one of the things you look at, you look all the way in the entrance requirements to get into your institution, because you want to make sure you get yourself affiliated with schools that have the same academic mission that you have. Same entrance requirements are close. You look at the size of your endowment at the university, travel between the institutions. You look at the size of the stadiums. You look at the size of the basketball facility. You look at the size of baseball facilities. You look at how far you have to travel to get to each one of those institutions and to see what your farthest travel point is. Some schools in the MEAC, especially those in the South, have an extensive travel requirement to go north and play some of the schools they play. So it's possible if you were aligned in a conference that was closer in proximity, the dollars that you spend now would be maximized. You'd be able to maximize them a little bit better because you wouldn't have to spend as much in travel. So I'm not as sold as you two. I don't necessarily think that's the number one thing.
Well, I agree with you when you say that a conference and a proper conference, because that conference, we all know that television drives Division I football. And